Lenihan, Boxing Social, in association with Empire Fight Store, joined by Dave Coldwell. Dave, apologise if I look a bit grey. I'm absolutely shattered from staying up from that pay per view, not pay per view, sorry, the Mike Tyson Jake Paul event. I have to say though, it was well worth it just for the Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano fight. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Another good fight on the undercard as well, Barrios and Ramos. But look, let's start top of the card. I assume you've seen the clips, watched the full fight. What's your overall takeaway and reaction to it?
I watched the highlights of it this morning when I got up. Kind of what I said beforehand and what I thought beforehand. 58-year-old legs. It doesn't matter about what power you possess, but if your legs can't get into range against somebody that's moving around, and then your legs aren't strong enough to really like be able to get any purchase on your punches, then it was always going to be a very, very difficult night for Mike Tyson. And after the first 30 seconds, minute, you saw that it just got gradually, well, not gradually, rapidly after the second round. You can see that the little bright sparks had completely diminished, and it just looked like it was hard work for him for the course of the fight. And Jake Paul did what he had to do. He was smart. He was not taking too many chances, and it just looked like for the majority of the fight, from my point of view and from what I've seen, is that Tyson was just stood centre of the ring and really couldn't really move. It was sad. It was so sad to see, which is, it's expected, but this I don't anybody that was expecting anything else really. I know we was all hoping that Tyson would land out one Hail Mary.
Yeah.
We were all hoping, but anyone that expected a more competitive fight or expected Tyson of old, you were living in dream world, really.
Yeah, I think we've got to be honest as well. He wasn't even the same fighter from 4 years ago when he fought
But
Roy
it's not going to be
Jones. That's what
the
I'm
the, the, the
saying.
rate
That's what I'm
the
saying.
rate
Like,
the rate of aging. Once you get into your 40s, once you get into your 50s, those 4 years, it's not like aging from 30 to 34.
yeah,
It's a lot more rapid. Just in normal physical life. But when you're talking about an athlete, when you're talking about a boxer, when you're talking about how he did well to take the punches he took. I mean that's a testament to his toughness, but also maybe a testament to Jake Paul's not quite the devastating puncher that people have tried to make out he has doing. Because he did take some clean shots, but his leg. I know he had a knee brace, but I said beforehand, a few months ago, the guy was in a wheelchair and using a walking stick. So what did people expect? You see these little clips and snips of reels where he's on pads and stuff like that. That's all mashed together. You can make anybody look great on the pads.
I was just about to say, I'm sure if I came and filmed like half an hour, some really clever editor would make
Yeah,
me look like a killer for a few minutes. But I think the flip side of this, so for me, this was like a double-edged sword. Um, it brought so many eyes to boxing, and I know
yeah,
Jake Paul talks about the numbers, and he said in his post like 120 million people tuned in or whatever. I think he might have been lying about the highest gate ever because I don't think it'll have beat
yeah.
Mayweather Pacquiao. But even my son, who's 8 years old, he's not really interested in boxing as much as I'd like him to be at this point. But he knew that fight was on. He desperately wanted to watch it. So, I mean, thankfully for him, he didn't stay up and watch that because he's watched it this morning. But I look at that and go, right, that's really good. We're getting people involved. But then on the flip side, what does that do for Jake Paul? Because it wasn't labelled as an exhibition; it was labelled as a professional fight. That what does it do
And I
for
have a
him?
problem with that because it's 14-ounce gloves and 8 2-minute rounds.
Yeah,
Not as
same.
much 8-2s because I know back in the day you used to do 6-2s, 8-2s. They were professional fights, but 14-ounce gloves. That's to me that's not a professional
No,
fight.
no, that's what I was going to come on to. In terms of his credibility, and he's always seeking, I feel like, validation. And let's be honest, the only I'm not trying to down on him here, but the legitimate boxer, and even one who was a novice at that point, was Tommy Fury, and Tommy got the victory over him.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's still searching for that validation, and I think if it would have been labelled an exhibition, I feel like if it would have still done numbers, and I still feel like he would have got more credit after it than he's doing now. If you see what I mean.
I think you're right there. I think certainly in terms of my own point of view, I can't speak for anybody else. In terms of my own point of view, if that was labelled as an exhibition, I'd be like, you know what, it is what it is. But it's a bit of a spar, public spar. There you go. You wouldn't be judging it and calling it as what it is. I'm calling it as what it is because the things that he's saying in the build to the fight. I saw an interview where he was saying he'd beat any version of Mike Tyson, and this victory against Tyson qualifies me for a shot at Canelo. This is going to be the biggest win in boxing history. Shit like that is okay for his fan base, and I understand he's got to sell himself to that fan base, so they look at him as like a god, which has worked for him, and that's why he's an absolute phenomenon. He's a huge superstar, earning unbelievable amounts of money, and he can pick who he wants to fight realistically because of how big a name he is. So I understand what he's saying there, but in terms of even though you'll get credit and you'll get applauded by your fan base, then don't be offended when people that are in the industry and are actually in boxing, real boxers, real boxing people, or real boxing fans, don't be offended if they're not going to give you the credit for beating a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. You can't have both sides.
I think business-wise, it's incredible for him because he's got his fans who will buy into it all. And look, I've just given an example. My 8-year-old saw some of the build to it, and boom, he's gone. And I was happy, but then I thought he's not going to get what he's expecting because he's showing all these old Mike Tyson. I said, what have you learned from that fight? And he goes, Mike Tyson's old. And I said, right, exactly. I said, but look, it's been good. You've enjoyed it. But when you look at Jake Paul, his fans lap it up. But then on the other hand of it as well, sometimes bad publicity is good publicity, and he's getting everybody talking because he keeps saying Canelo. The line that got me last night, and I know what he's doing when he says it, but I'm sat on the sofa pulling my hair going, Canelo needs me. My God, please stop, because the same fear, I said to Spencer, on the same fear I have for Mike Tyson going into a Jake Paul fight, I would actually have genuine concerns of Canelo going in there with a Jake Paul. I would. Would you not? Because I just think Canelo would be able to do what he wants, kind of thing.
You'd have that fear for Jake Paul?
Yeah, no. Jesus, no.
What?
No, as in that because of his accomplishments. I don't know how you feel about that, but it just shows.
No disrespect to Tommy Fury, what I'm about to say, but Tommy Fury is a domestic level prospect in real terms, right? Would Tommy Fury at this stage in his career? It's a bit unfair because Tommy's going down the influencer route, and I rate that he's doing what he's wanting to do for his career. But if he was a serious, and the reason why I'm using it is because he's the guy that beat Jake Paul. But if he was to have a serious fight against you guys that are domestic prospects at cruiserweight, even another influencer, a guy that's come from that background, Fidel Riley. Right, you would say that's I would lean towards Fidel Riley, but you'd say that's the kind of level fight that you'd go, that'd be a good fight for Tommy Fury. You wouldn't talk about Richard Riakporhe, you wouldn't talk about any other domestic fighters that aren't quite I'm not saying Billam-Smith because Billam-Smith's world champion, but any of the other guys in cruiserweight division that are domestic level, you wouldn't put Tommy Fury above those guys. Tommy Fury beat Jake Paul. So you're talking about the level that he is at, Jake Paul, then, fighting a Canelo Alvarez. Come on, let's be real. He's doing it because of his fan base. And really, what he's getting and what he's doing is unbelievable. And do you really think he gives a shit what boxing people think about him? No, because his audience and his fan base aren't boxing people. He's just having some serious fun, making some serious coin, and making some serious headlines, doing what he wants to do, invading the the opinions of people what are like me that
Yeah.
don't give him the credit. But he don't care about that. He just keep racking it up.
It's not even like the credit as a fighter because I think he's dedicated himself enough to say that maybe he's a I don't know how you'd say it. He's just early on in his boxing career, but you never
Yeah,
see them fight the fights. So it's not even saying he's not a fighter. I think look, he's took himself away, Puerto Rico doing his thing. But in terms of levels and where he's at, look,
yeah, but he's not.
um,
What one thing I'll say about this, about in terms of, I'm not saying that he hasn't got any ability. He's doing well, but what he's not doing is he's not doing what other fighters, other prospects of ability are doing, and fighting real boxers. Right, fighting. Mike Tyson. He's not. He's a former professional fighter that's come out after 20 years of retirement
mhm.
to come back to fight him. He's not fighting any current journeyman, even if it's current journeyman or win some, lose some 50-50 guys, 50-50 record guys that are professional boxers, real professional. He's not even fighting them sort of guys. So that's why I can't take him like seriously as a professional fighter and say yes, he quantifies for this title shot or that title shot because he's fighting MMA guys, basketballs or whatever it is, influencers, and then retired 58-year-old
I think
former
he
legend.
had. I think he had one journeyman fighter, or it was a fighter that wasn't as well known. I don't want to put disrespect on his name, but I see what you're saying. I want to. I
Great.
want to.
Want to know then?
No, no, it wasn't. What? 1 minute.
No, no. Jake Paul, sorry, one on
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah.
He's boxed two guys that
Yeah,
have boxed
yeah. Sorry.
professionally.
No, no, no.
Right,
I
he got
just, I
beat
just
by one, and he beat a one and O guy,
you,
journeyman guy, whatever it is.
someone 17-3, Ryan Borland. But yeah, for what it's worth, 1-1. But I'm trying to marry it up in my head because I thought there was one that slipped in between. Just on this, Tony Bellew was there. Very funny advert for one of the
Yeah,
betting
well,
companies. I was creasing because I thought Tony didn't want to give any shine to him, but he's there, and this is really funny. Where Tony Bellew, obviously, you know him as well as anyone. I mean, you've shared your biggest moments with him. But if he was to jump off the couch now, get fit for say 4 to 6 weeks, and go in there with Jake Paul, what happens?
yeah, yeah. Are you asking that as a serious question?
Yeah, because
What
if
happens?
is in him now, his shape just jumps off and goes in there with Jake Paul right now.
It absolutely smash him to bits.
Do
It
you think we
absolutely smash him to bits.
could we see it? Do you think we'd
He's
see
he's
it?
on. He's 41, not 51.
Yeah.
Even Bellew's never been a body beautiful, but he's
No,
always he's always doing something. He's always keeping his, he's got a busy schedule in what he's doing, but he's always finding time to do something, keep himself relatively in shape and what have you. You know, we a few months back we did a little bit of pads a few months back because it was our local, and the mate, don't talk to him about a fight with Jake Paul because he'd absolutely terrorise him.
I kind of want to see him. I kind of want to see it now. Do you know what? Because I think that would
Yeah, but
give it more relevance. Because for Tony to come back in, because you know how Tony is. Like he despises it. You can tell the way he talks about it, how much it angers him. And I think this would be something that I think would buy into as well for an opponent for Jake.
um, I don't think Jake Paul had risk it against somebody like that. It's like I'm hearing, just like you see a couple of tweets and stuff about, an Andre Ward fighting him. It's like there's not a prayer that Jake
It's,
Paul's going to be fighting people like Andre Ward or Tony Bellew. There's not a prayer. They're not, they're too good. They're too fresh still, even though they've been retired for a bit. Um, and yeah, it's not happening.
he sparred Crawford as well, didn't he, Andrew Ward? A few like for Crawford's
Yeah,
last camp because he's
yeah,
still in
yeah,
he's still in
yeah.
really good shape.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. I would dare Jake Paul to take that fight because there's not a chance, not a chance.
let's move on. Katie Taylor Serrano. That kind of made it worthwhile staying up. I have to say, after that fight, I was like, you know what, brilliant. Obviously, point off for the head, but all three judges had it to Katie. I was expecting something a bit dramatic, but it was, I suppose, in a way, because I think the commentary was kind of leaning quite heavily maybe to one side. But look, from your opinion, what was it?
Um, so kind of when you don't watch it as live, or as in when you know the result, kind of spoils it. Now, so I saw the tweets about it being controversial, and a lot of people
Yeah.
saying, "Oh, Serrano was robbed" and stuff like that. That's what was coming up on my timeline. So I thought, oh, okay. But then I'm listening to the commentary as well. I thought it's just all geared up for Serrano. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. It was a good fight. Serrano had a lot of success, but then there was never any mention about any of Katie Taylor's success. And she was having success, and it was a really hard from round 7 onwards. Really, it just become like a real war from round 7 onwards. Just plenty of guts and from both girls, guts, determination. It's just a really close fight. I thought it was a really close fight, and you can hear from Katie's coach. He said going into the last round, we need this round. We need this round. Knowing that it's a close fight. If he'd have felt as though she was comfortable, no, he'd have said something else. But you need this round. You need to, go out and finish strong. I think it was round 9, the interview mid rounds,
Serrano's coach.
and he was saying, "Oh, she's
One
a round in front, one up." Now he was very blatantly, obviously pro Serrano, like moaning and everything all the way through the fight about the fight, what was going off in the fight. In his interview, he was moaning and bitching about everything that was going off during the fight. So he's obviously, so he's seen it close. And the last 2 rounds were close. The judges' scorecards, 1 round to Katie Taylor. I can't see how that's a robbery. Don't get me wrong. If you were to say to me, Dave, I've watched it and I thought Serrano won the fight, I'd be like, yeah, I can see how you see that. It's one of those fights. Could go either way. So it's not a robbery. I just thought it was a really, really hard fought fight. Both girls were unbelievable. All Katie's fights are pretty much the same, where she'll throw herself at it with her punches. It's almost like rapid fire, but throwing herself at it. And against the southpaw, you are going to get those. Normally in fights, southpaw versus orthodox, as they both come in together, you do get a lot of head clashes. Is it a trait of Katie Taylor's? Yeah, she does. She does not lead with the head, but she does throw her head at punches. But so do fighters like Ivan Royko was known for always catching, with the head. But certain fighters are in the way that they throw the punches. That's one of the dangers of fighting them.
Yeah, I think Sean Porter as well when he was active.
Yeah, Sean Porter's another one. Yeah,
he was one who they sort of, because he had that style of trying to get inside. But I think I honestly thought that the point was, I'd have to maybe watch it back 2 or 3 times, but I thought there was maybe more reason in the Chantel fight to take a point off. I think the southpaw stances, I thought, and even I think, I can't remember if it was Andre Ward or Roy Jones, one of them said that's just the stances, that's just how they're married up. That can happen. But what do you want to see?
But also, if so, the thing is, what I will say is with Katie is she does a lot of holding, but that's part of the tactics. If you can get away with it, great. Listen, a lot of old school fighters do the work, tie you up, stop the opponent from getting into a rhythm. I get that, but if you're going to take a point off, there's an opportunity to take a point off to stop the holding. But if a referee doesn't mind that side of things, then that's why she didn't get a point to copper holding. But I kind of thought, I understand the grievances they've got with the holding, but that's an old school fight. Bernard Hopkins would do it. As fighters get older, listen, she's 38 years old, and she works at high energy, but she needs to pinch breathers. She needs to try and stop, the bigger puncher. from working. Bernard Hopkins would do it. Do a bit of work, tie you up, walk you back. Bit of work, tie you up, walk you back. Break that rhythm, stop you from being able to get a momentum. And she, it's like old banning someday we call
Yeah.
it, and that's what she did.
It's like gamesmanship, but it's like the
If you,
experience you use. If where you see Floyd Mayweather do it, he lean into his shoulder, he comes up here.
yeah,
There's nowhere to move, so
yeah.
it's natural. But it's more of how you use it. So I suppose would you equivalent it to like a footballer who knows he's going to get a touch off someone in a box, so he blatantly continues running, kind of thing. You're
If
using your smarts a little.
if you can listen, if you can get away with it, you'll keep doing it. If the referee starts warning, starts taking points, you'll stop doing it.
Yeah,
It's what happens. You'll stop doing it. Um, and it's if I'm in the opposite corner, I'm fuming. This is what we're all like. Well, if it's our fighters, and they do things like that, and if you need them to get through the round, you need them to pinch breaks, it's like do it, keep doing it, and it's like you're happy with it. If you're the opposition and you're wanting to get the shots off and you think you can get rid of them and they're doing it, you're fuming. You're ref. We've all done it. I've done it myself. So it's just what the referee is going to allow you to get away with, and what it seems as excessive. But it was a
last
close fight, and
yeah.
I'll be honest with you, for me it could have gone either way.
Yeah, I think my mate messaged me after the fight, and I said I think a round either way is fair.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
so I suppose it's the world we live in. If you're not people are happy, they're not happy. But it's a terrific fight. Last one. What do you want to see Katie Taylor do now? Spencer Fearon earlier when I spoke to him said she's done everything. I'd like to see her sail off. She's 38, but
yeah.
I suppose that's one of them where I look at that and go, oh, just keep reloading that fight, keep reloading the Chantel fight. But then I suppose at some point you might not get that version of Katie, and you want to retire on top. What do you want to see?
Um, I hear from Eddie that even if you mention the word retirement to her, she gets really offended and she's steaming. But I just look at her. I think she's a legend. Regardless of she's had a couple of nights where you think, oh, she got lucky there, or it's she got fortunate. What she's done for the women's game and the eyes that she's brought to boxing and the the great determination and heart that she puts into each fight is phenomenal. Regardless of men's or women's boxing, she's got so much guts, so much tenacity, and she's a pure winner. She's got that winner's mentality where she just refuses. She looks absolutely goose and absolutely out on her feet, knackered, and she'll just go again, go again, go again. She'll take the big shot and she's going again. She's definitely she's a legend of the sport. So I would like her to walk away. But she will. It's very hard for fighters to know when to walk away and to time it right. You always think, oh, I've got one more in me. And then that one more ends up being too much. Then you regret. You think, oh, I should have walked away. You get beat or whatever, and then you may come back again thinking, oh, I've got to finish off on a win. I can't finish off, and then it's just not there, and you get beat again, and then it's like, oh, people like Lennox Lewis, Joe Calzaghe, they got it right. They got it right. They knew when to walk away. Even Carl Froch, although he keeps itching for a fight to come back with.
Jake Paul, that's another one. Chuck him in.
There you go. And Froch keeps himself in real shape. So that Jake Paul's not knocking on that door. But they timed it right, and I'd like her to time it right because I think a legacy and her achievements deserve that. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, well said, Dave. Well said. Look, appreciate you jumping on as always, mate.
Always, man.
I'm gonna go get some sleep, but oh God, I'll catch up with you soon. Obviously, I think Billam-Smith and Zurdo.
Yeah, looking forward to that fight. I'm looking forward to that fight.
Who'd you edge?
Do you know what? Chris Billam-Smith's the kid that he was coming through and you're watching. You just think he's very basic. He's just strong and rugged. But then I remember I was doing commentary on a show that he was on. I don't know if it was the Tommy McCarthy, but I wasn't working that fight. But I was right on the ring apron, basically. on the commentary table. And when I was that close, and you see how effective he is, you see what he's doing, I was like, whoa. And it just took my respect of what he does to another level. And then obviously he's gone on to become world champion and done what he's done. Every fight is a hard fight, but when you're in the opposite corner, you're gonna have a tough night with him, And Zurdo's a good fighter. Yeah, his quality is good, but he may be tall, he may have that frame, but he's a naturally a smaller guy. He's not in terms of career wise what they've been operating at. He's a naturally smaller guy, and I don't know whether because what Billam-Smith's very good at is implementing his way of fighting onto you and his will and his strength and ruggedness and horribleness onto you. And it's very, very draining if you can't cope with that. But he has been rattled a few times, in his last few fights as such. But I also, in Shane McGuigan, Shane's got the best out of him, and that, he'll know how to navigate through any rough sort of moments. I fancy Billam-Smith to beat him. I really do. I fancy Billam-Smith to beat him because when he's those clumping shots, those body shots, he's heavy-handed. He's not like I feel like a one-punch spark you out sort of damage. He's the guy that'll grind you down and then take you out. Do you know what I mean? Then he's got that kind of power.
Yeah, shout out to Chris. It's going to be a good fight tonight. It's his big moment as well over there, and he gets this one out of the way. I mean, there's Opataya lurking. There's some big fights for him, and he's a good guy, is Chris.
He's earned it. He's earned it.
Let's see, Dave. Appreciate your time, bud.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.